All right, everybody, welcome to Gears Overdrive today. I'm Lance Wiggins, Executive Director with ATRA. On my right is Keith Clark, Technical Director for ATRA. Keith, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are we doing today? What's happening?
Doing great, Lance. Just loving the world of transmissions.
I like it. I know, right? It's a great day to fix transmissions, so
let's get started.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit about the May issue of Gears. If you haven't gotten your Gears magazine, you can get it at gearsmagazine.com. Get into Gears at gearsmagazine.com. It's free for all of our members. It's free to the industry. You can sign up or subscribe. If you do sign up and subscribe online, there's an extra cost to it. But other than that, it is you can pick it up at gearsmagazine.com. Get into Gears at gearsmagazine.com. May issue 2025. I know I have my pod copy. Do you have your copy of it? Let me see this thing. There we go. This is much better. There's your gear. Get into Gears at gearsmagazine.com. Front cover is let's see. I think we did a shop profile on Burnett Transmissions. Burnett Transmissions, Transmission Way. So Burnett Transmissions. There you go. May issue of Gears Magazine. Page 4. Delivering the goods by our technical director, Keith Clark. The 8L90 changes and updates, they are not created equal. Man, tell me about it. What are we going to be looking in here? It looks like we're looking at a pump body, stator support. What's going on with this unit right now?
Well, there's all kind of parts and pieces inside this transmission that can get you in trouble if you have spare parts on the counter and on your shelf in the back parts area. If you have hard parts, they're not all going to be the same. So this is like a warning shot across the bow, because if you install wrong parts, you are going to have shift complaints, shift quality issues that are going to be something that you cannot get rid of.
So figure 2 shows an early 8L90, 8L45 image. There's some differences between the two. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, one of the changes here we see in figure 2, basically they had a check ball that they added into the stator area, the passage here. Basically, it's for the 1-2 feed oil for the 1-2 shift. Basically, that circuit has a tendency of getting air. It gets aerated when the vehicle sits for a while, and basically it causes a 1-2 shift flare. So they added a check ball so that oil can, actually bleed the air out of that circuit, and the earlier ones didn't have it. So one thing that you do want to check out, that's going to be an update that you want to make sure you do, especially if you got one of the earliest models. 2015, 2016 might have the earlier design as shown here.
General Motors was really good about interim changes. Man, I mean, halfway into a year, they add something because of something. And if you don't know, your 2024 is, you think it's a 2024, you go order the part for a 2024, but it's really a 2024.5, right?
Yes.
They still got RPOs, right?
Yes, they still
have
RPOs.
So the RPOs matter.
Yes.
For General Motors for sure. I also noticed, digressing just a little bit, in figure 1, there are a ton of different snap rings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So adaptive strategy, at least, from what we've seen in the past, it didn't matter what snap ring you had because it would adapt to the system, right? But now we're saying no.
Well, here we're pointing out the 8L90, if you don't build it right, if the clutch clearances specifically are not correct, you're going to end up with shift problems that are not going to be able to be learned out. They're not going to be able to be corrected through the adaptive process.
Interesting. Based on a mechanical scenario.
Exactly. So the computer tolerances are basically expecting the clearance to be within a certain range.
Yep.
If you're outside that window, either too tight or too loose, you're going to have flared binding shifts.
My goodness.
Yes.
My goodness. As we traverse through the rest of this article, once again, it looks like we see some different shafts here.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
Page 6, by the way. Page 6, May issued years 2025.
Mhm. Okay, well, they made some changes. Started in 2015, where they made the pendulum, centrifugal pendulum accumulator torque converter, which basically required a different type of stator and input shaft, where they have counterweights actually inside the torque converter that absorb the vibrations from a diesel motor.
Yep.
But they carried that design over to the gas side when they came up with the displacement on demand, the DFM, the dynamic fuel management system, in 2019, and they carried that torque converter through. So basically, it kind of like skipped a few years and then came out again in 2019 and up with the DFM equipped vehicles. And the stator is different than the non-DFM, which was the earlier design, the original design. So again, that's going to be something that you do want to be aware of. And again, parts on the shelf, you might see a stator that doesn't have a bushing. That means that is supposed to be matched with a DFM design, or one that takes a centrifugal pendulum accumulator type torque converter. And that's the only one it can go with. Don't try to put a bushing in there and use it on a non.
That's a no-go.
DFM. That's a no-go.
That's a no-go.
The dimensions are different, and we give you the dimensions. If you look at page 6, figure 5, we give you the dimensions to show you, okay, these are the dimensions and the differences. And the input shafts are even different as well, as we see in that same figure.
Yep.
So again, very important to keep you out of trouble. And again, experienced parts, used parts, they're all well and good, but you got to know what you're putting in to make sure that your unit's going to work correctly.
Make sure whatever you're putting in is what came out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No interchange as a whole.
No interchange.
So it can't change both shaft and stair support, pump body, nothing. It's got to be all. It's got to be OG. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. I see that there's an updated 8090-1278 reverse return spring as well.
Yes.
What's up with that?
About 2019 and up, we had some situations where there was shift quality issues based on internal parts. They made a hard part change inside. Basically, it's for the 1-2 shift. So again, we're looking at these clutches are timed for release as well as apply. So the off-going of the clutch is as critical as the oncoming of the clutch. It's about a 0.3 second overlap that we're dealing with these clutches.
Yeah.
So the hard parts are very critical. And this part came out in 2019 and up. They got the programming as well as the part. This part does not retro. So we want to be aware that you're not going to make an improvement on a earlier unit by putting these parts in.
That's once again, no interchange. Use the part that is required for the vehicle.
Exactly. Very important. Very important here.
And then I'm noticing here in Figure 7, the 13567 drum has two different variations when replacing the part. And there's an identifier code and a QR label.
Yes, definitely. Very important to realize here too. There's one that has a higher clutch capacity than the other. It's not about improving these units if you use a higher clutch capacity. So you want to put in the one that came out of it.
So is the drum taller, shorter?
No, it's just the snap ring inside
where they put the snap ring. Taller, shorter. Okay.
Exactly. So the snap ring location is going to be different on the A versus the B.
Got it. Anything else that our viewers are going to want to know about this unit?
Well, it's about taking care of the details. You always have to pay attention to what's going on inside this unit. Of course, we cover valve body wear. In this article specifically went after the mechanical parts because, again, once you build a unit, it's going to be in the vehicle. Of course, the valve body side, you have access to that. So we wanted to give you all the cautions as far as from the builder's bench, what to be aware of, especially if you decide to use some pre-loved parts.
Not pre-owned, pre-loved parts. That's perfect. Well, we definitely want to give a special thanks to our friend Bill Anthony of Whatever It Takes Transmission Parts for providing the transmission parts, and our own Jimmy Taylor, ATRA Technical Advisor, for the comparison and measurement photos.
Definitely.
All right. Well, as we like to say here at ATRA, thank you for joining us here and for Gears Overdrive. It's a great day to fix transmissions, so
Let's get started.
see you next time.